Imagine a knock on the door you hope never comes. It's not a customer, it's not a partner, it's the Serious Fraud Investigation Office. In that one moment, you know the future of your company is just hanging in the balance. But don't worry, today we're handing you the compass to navigate that exact storm. So this isn't some abstract question. When this happens, for real, you have two choices: panic or a plan. One way leads to total chaos, the other puts you back in control. We're here to build that plan, step by step, so you know exactly what to anticipate and how to respond. Let's get into it.
All right, so here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll talk about what happens when the SFIO actually knocks on your door. Then we're going to get into their powers, and trust me, they are significant. After that, we'll build your playbook. Then we'll face the tough stuff, the aftermath, and potential penalties. And we'll wrap it all up with what I'm calling the boss lady takeaway. Okay, first things first, the starting line. An SFIO investigation is never, ever random. It doesn't just pop up out of thin air. There are very specific formal triggers, and knowing what those are is honestly the first step to demystifying this whole thing. Now, to make all this real, we're going to follow the story of Reshma D'Souza. When her company, Malhotra Industries, faced this exact challenge, she was ready. Her journey isn't just a story. It's pretty much a masterclass in preparation that's going to guide us through the whole process.
So what exactly is the SFIO? Well, think of them as the major leagues of corporate fraud investigation. This isn't just one type of investigator. It's a multidisciplinary powerhouse. We're talking experts in forensic accounting, law, IT, banking, all under one roof. When the SFIO gets involved, it's a clear signal that the government thinks the situation is exceptionally serious. So how does the ball get rolling? Well, the central government can greenlight an investigation based on one of four triggers. It could be a really bad report from a registrar. Sometimes it's the company itself, passing a special resolution asking for a probe. It can also be triggered if it's a matter of public interest, or if another government department requests it. The key thing here is it's not arbitrary. There's always an official starting point.
All right, let's shift gears. To navigate this and really safeguard your rights, you have to understand what you're dealing with. The Companies Act gives the SFIO some seriously sweeping powers, and knowing their scope is absolutely fundamental to your strategy. Their number one tool is the power to demand information. And let's be crystal clear, this is not a request. All officers and employees, and that includes past employees, are legally required to hand over any relevant documents, answer questions, and give their full assistance. Cooperation here? It's mandatory. Now, this next one is, well, it's a real game changer. The power of arrest. Unlike a lot of other regulators, SFIO officers can actually arrest individuals for certain offenses without a warrant. And if you think this is just some power that sits on the books, the Bhushan Steel case is a stark reminder that they can and will use it.
You know, an SFIO probe almost never stays confined to just one company. Investigators have the power to expand their inquiry to any related company. We're talking subsidiaries, parent companies, the whole group. A single investigation can turn into a storm that just engulfs the entire corporate family.
And what if the investigators think that crucial evidence might be destroyed, or hidden, or changed? They have the authority to search your premises and seize documents. It's a vital power for them. But here's a crucial right for you to remember. Your company is legally entitled to take copies of any documents that are taken. Don't forget that. In today's world, fraud doesn't stop at the border, and neither does the SFIO. Through official request, they can work with foreign courts to gather evidence or question witnesses who are abroad. We saw this in the Vijay Mallya case. Put simply, there's no hiding across an ocean. Okay, so we've seen their power. Now let's talk about your plan. This is not about fighting back, it's about responding intelligently, strategically, and most importantly, lawfully. This is your playbook for handling the inquiry and protecting your rights every single step of the way.
All right, write these down. Here are the 6 critical plays. 1. Acknowledge the inquiry right away and cooperate. 2. Immediately get experienced legal counsel. This is not a do-it-yourself project. 3. Preserve and organize all of your documents. 4. Start your own internal review. 5. Train your employees on their rights and what they need to do. And finally, number 6, maintain strict confidentiality. And this right here shows you the absolute first call you have to make. Remember Reshma? She didn't try to handle this alone. Her very first move was to bring in a team of seasoned corporate lawyers. They became her guide, making sure every step was legally sound and, so critically, that the rights of the company and its employees were protected. This step is completely non-negotiable. So the investigation is finally over. The SFIO submits its report to the government. So what's the end game? What happens now? Let's turn to the aftermath and break down what the potential consequences really look like. Based on what's in that report, the government can take one of three huge actions. It can launch a criminal prosecution against the company and its officers. It can go to the courts and ask to have the company completely shut down. Or it can start proceedings to claw back any stolen money or property. The stakes here are just incredibly high. And the penalties for fraud under Section 447, they are severe. Just look at these numbers. If the fraud is over 10 lakhs, you could be facing up to 10 years in prison, plus a fine that could be up to 3 times the amount of the fraud. And if it's found to affect the public interest, that's a minimum of 3 years behind bars. We're not just talking about fines here. These are potentially life-altering consequences. All of this brings us to our final and honestly our most critical section. After looking at the powers, the process, the penalties, what's the one lesson we need to walk away with? Well, it comes straight from Reshma D'Souza, who handled this whole pressure cooker situation with so much poise they actually started calling her the boss lady. So what was her secret? It wasn't some clever legal trick she pulled during the crisis. No, her secret weapon was forged years before the SFIO ever showed up. Her confidence came from a relentless, constant state of being prepared, all driven by this exhaustive internal checklist she maintained. Now, her full checklist had something like 24 points, but they all boiled down to these fundamentals. Know your company inside and out. Keep your books absolutely pristine and up to date. Track every single management detail. Constantly review your legal compliance. And maybe most important of all, proactively hunt for and scrutinize any irregularities before they can grow into huge problems. This is what rock-solid governance looks like in the real world. And that really leaves us with this final thought. An SFIO investigation is a test, for sure. But it's not just testing your crisis plan. It's testing the very character of your company. In the end, good governance isn't just about avoiding trouble. It's about building a business with so much integrity that it can withstand any storm that comes its way.